Hi, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Storm Titan or the Storm Triton that you can fight at the end of Imperia. I know it's not as hard anymore due to the fact that they moved all of its annoying cheats to challenge mode, so the actual fight's a little bit easier. It's more doable with trying to solo it. But I know some people still want to get that Storm Chaser badge. If you guys don't know what that badge is, it requires you to defeat the Storm Triton 100 times. And a lot of people had this badge before this fight turned into a challenge mode and got his cheats removed and it became easier. But there is some cheese that you guys can do at the moment if you guys want to farm this badge. I know it's kind of like a prestigious badge just because how long it took back then, but now it's just super easy to do. You can literally one round the fight, and I'll show you guys how to do that in today's video. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and let's get into the content. So when it comes to the strat, it's really easy. I mean, you don't have to one round it if you don't have access to some of the stuff. Most of the people are just going to be able to two round it, but if you have the specific things that I'm going to show you guys should be able to one round this pretty easily. And you guys can switch out two people for whatever schools you guys want. If I know some people are like, well, if this setup requires fires, you know, do I have to farm some of my fire? What if I want to have this badge like on my storm or like my myth or my life? That's fine. Just you can swap two of these people to whatever school you want. It's just that two of the people require a fire, so you have to have two fires in this setup to be able to one round it. So let's show you the strat real quick. I need to figure out a way of how I'm gonna put this all in the Discord, but I might just like make a slide of just different bosses and just toss them in there, or I might make like separate slides for all of these. I'm not too sure yet. You guys let me know in the Discord, but depending on how it is, I'll put all these there. But when it comes to the fight, all you're doing is having two backdrafts, and you're either doing a Scald or a Glimpse of Infinity into an Incendiate. Now that sounds easy on paper, right? You're probably like, oh, okay, that's pretty easy. There's some like little differences here and there, right? So if you want to do it like the fast way, when it's not too much animation or anything like that, you're just trying to be quick with it, you just do first person has to be a regular fire. There has to be just a fire, you know, have max power pips of course, and you can just potent your backdraft. You're just going to enchant your backdraft, and that's what the first person's doing. The second person's doing is, this is for the faster, right, is you're going to have item card backdraft. So you can get item card backdraft from, I believe, like 2 different pieces of gear. So make sure you have that. I know some people are going to ask, well, can't you just have another fire and they can do a backdraft? Regular backdraft and potent backdraft do not stack, so that's why you have to use an item card version so you can stack with both of them. It's better than a feint because of the fact that it's a higher percentage, right? Like a potent feint is doing 80%, while a backdraft that's an item card is doing like 100%. You know, there's a lot of extra percents that do carry over to be able to make this a one round. So losing like the extra the percentages will make it so you won't be able to one round it. So that's why like whenever I do all my strats and like I list them wherever, I include a percentage, because that percentage actually matters, you know. So same scenario here. So that second person that's doing that item card backdraft, there's, for the first strat, you're gonna have to have the decathlon deck, because you need the extra 2 pips, because having that 1 extra pip is another 20% stacked on. Because how backdraft works is you get percentage based upon how many pips you have. So the more pips, the higher the percentage. So having the decathlon deck and getting that 1 extra percent is giving you an extra 20% damage, which is crazy to think about. So that second person just has to have a decathlon deck and any type of item card backdraft. Make sure you have high pips, of course, and that can be literally anyone. It doesn't have to be a fire. It doesn't have to be like any certain school. So that second person can fluctuate between anybody. So like if you want to farm this badge, just put on any character in that second slot. And then the third person has to be a fire. So if you're gonna do the strat, which I'm talking about right now, which is the decathlon deck setup, you're gonna have to use Glimpse of Infinity, and you need to have just regular Glimpse of Infinity. You don't have to have tears on it or anything like that. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but you need to make sure you have 214% fire damage, which I know is very specific, but you need to have that much damage to be able to kill. So that requires you to have the nullity robe. And I know some people are like, well, I can't do that, right? I don't do raids. I don't have the nullity robe. There's a solution, which is very niche, but it works. If you guys have the Skyfire robe or the Nightmare robe, you guys can rock that. What you're gonna need is the amulet that you get from Lower Zigzag that gives you 2 extra % damage. So you actually need that to be able to do it. Of course, you're gonna have to have the set bonus with the mount and the pet from the Fossil Warrior pack. So just keep that in mind. That's the only way you're getting 214, other than just using the nullity robe. So keep that in mind. You're gonna have to have that on the setup, or you're not killing, right? So that's why I specifically wrote you need 214% fire damage. So just keep that in mind. And then the last person just gonna do incendiate. This incendiate person can be anything, right? It can literally be anybody. It doesn't have to be a fire. Like I said, just make sure you have a fire mastery on, and just get the incendiate hat from, I think it's like the Dahlia hat. So have that, and that's basically the 1-round strat. So there's some tweaks that you guys can do. So let's say the second person that's doing the item card backdraft doesn't have Decathlon deck, right? It would be quicker animation wise. That's why it's, I had that strat first, which is just potent backdraft, item card backdraft, and then the Decathlon deck, because you get the extra pip, and then just Glimpse of Infinity and Incendiate. But I know, let's just say the second person does not have Decathlon deck. There's a solution. Just make sure person 1, 2, or 3, mainly person 1 and 2, have a pet that gives you a will cast. Will casts are basically like a pet talent that you guys can get, and the pet will cast it using like the hunger bar that it has. So doing that, you can get like a 30% trap. So if you have will cast Hex or will cast Curse, which is a pet talent, and you have that unlocked on your pet, turn 1 your pet can cast that alongside with anything that you're casting, so it's an extra 30% damage. So if you don't have the Decathlon deck, what you're just gonna have to do is just make sure you have somebody that has a will cast talent on their pet, preferably person either 1 or 2. Person 3 can have it too, but they're rocking an all damage setup, so they can't really do it. And the 4th person can't do it because how the pet talent works is it casts after you cast stuff. So if you're doing Incendiate, you're already detonating a dot, so it'll put the trap after you detonate it, which won't help with what you're trying to do. So ideally person 1 or 2 has to have it, right? And then you guys can just change your hit to a Scald. So person 3 doesn't have to use Glimpse of Infinity. They don't have to have 214 damage. They can literally just do regular Scald, Incendiate, and just make sure person 1 or 2 has a will cast on their pet. The reason why I had an option with Glimpse of Infinity with the Decathlon deck, because it technically is quicker. I know if you want, like, if someone's like, oh, I want to, be quicker or whatever like that, it is a little bit quicker. And but I know it's a very niche setup because it requires you to have the nullity robe and having at least 214 damage. If you have the other setup, which is just the Willcast Curse and Hex with the backdraft and the Scald Incendiate, you don't have to have the nullity robe. You can rock full Aeon, so it's a little bit more leeway. So I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more leeway. You can definitely do this, like I said, on 2 rounds. You don't have to 1 round this, but if you are trying to get that Storm Chaser badge, this is like the best opportunity to do so. So just make sure you're stagger joining the fight while doing this whole scenario. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but if you don't stagger join, the bubble's not going to disappear. So make sure like 3 people go in and the last person doesn't go in till like the round like actually starts, and you can click your cards. And then before you click your card, just make sure the last person joins and then just click theirs. And that just basically cheeses the entire fight, because most of us know how Storm Titan fight works, where it's like you have to do certain increments, but you don't have to do that really if you can just bug out the bubble. So honestly, if you wanted to get the badge right now, you guys can go for it and do it. That's the only thing that's really worth doing from this fight. And I know you can still get gear from here and stuff like that, but it's like a really low like drop rate at that point. It's just better doing challenge mode, and challenge mode is, I mean, still kind of difficult, right? But the only thing you really get from here is just the stitch gear, in my opinion. I know some people would be like, oh, you can get the masteries and stuff like that, but honestly, the other masteries that you can craft are better than these. And I would even say some other ones that you can farm from, like Omen, or even the Exalted Masteries would be a little bit better. I know these give like universal resist, I believe. The balance one does as well, but the one that you get from Imperia has the same stuff. So at that point, just get the Imperia one. It's they're like the crafted ones. Those are just way better. So that's what I would have to say. But overall, if you guys did want to farm it right now and try to get that Storm Chaser badge, which is 100 Storm Titan kills, this would be your best bet. So highly recommend that you guys do so. But that is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want, I can put this in the Discord. I don't know at the moment how I'm gonna organize it, like I said at the beginning, but I'll try to figure out a way, and I'll organize it for you guys so you guys can just, every time there's like new stuff that comes out, I can just toss in it, and you know, if things get changed, I can always go back and adjust stuff. So that is gonna be it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join the Discord down below if you guys haven't, and check out the Twitch channel as well if you guys haven't. I try to stream as much often as I can whenever I get the ability to do so. And yeah, so I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.